Hello, this is Neil from iPaintGirls.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to go through the process of how I set up a comic page and everything, and just some of the things I think about as I'm sketching it out. So this is mainly the sketching process, and so to give an idea then, I'll show you the sketching of what we're going to be going through. I'll show you the sketching process here. Bring this up here. I'm going to make it, did I throw that in the thing? Doesn't matter, I'm not going to be saving this anyway. Right, so here is the sketching process for this page. As you can see, it's very primitive because I don't spend much time when I do this. When I do these kinds of sketches, I do them very quickly, and they're just for I can lay out what I want, right? So it's just like I kind of know I want him to be here, and my main important thing here is I need to know where the speech bubbles are going to be. I just put little hints of what they're saying for I know what part of the story I'm on, because I already have this all written out, right? I wrote the novel first, so I know what they're saying and stuff like that. And I've changed a lot from the novel to the graphic novel because you can't quite accomplish the same amount of story with the graphic novel. But for the most part, it's really the same story as my novel. Right, so anyway, so what's important here is I lay out the speech bubble so I know, where everything's going to be, and, I can cleverly place speech bubbles in certain places where I can get away with not drawing certain things. And, that I kind of put just basic, like the question mark is just to remind me that, he has like a question face. And I do like shorthand sort of, like these little sketches are almost like shorthand sketches just for I remember the kind of face they have, and I have certain shorthand things I do for me that it might not work for you, but it works for me. So develop some sort of shorthand where you know what your shorthand means. In other words, I know this shorthand means surprised, and that's all I have to do is that for a face. And I know that, let's say, and you can do faces however you want. This is really just to save time. I know that this, is shorthand for, something. Like kind of like type of thing. Anyway, so make shorthand faces. That way you can quickly go through when you're doing this layout. It's not really the sketching process. It's more of a layout thing. And some things I do spend more time, like in him here. I spent more time in this, just because I started to develop the sketching stage too, where I can refine that into the final drawing, which that pretty much stays the same. Doesn't change much. But the main thing is I'm making use of my panels, so I know everything's going to be what I can fit on the page and where the speech bubbles are going to be. And I have an idea I know about how many words it takes up about how much space on the page. You learn that through experience. So right, so let's go ahead and get started then with the next page, and I'll show you the thinking process I go through for the next page. Right, so the first thing I do then is I open. Wait, no, what am I doing? I go to new, and I have this saved here, this size here. And this is the size I do my graphic novel, and it's pretty standard size for like printing a graphic novel. So I do the same size from online novels I do for the printing. That way it's all the same if I ever wanted to print it. Okay, so then I make a new layer, and I get started with brainstorming and sketching out my ideas. First thing I do is I divide this into pretty much 4 equal parts. I don't try to be perfect. That's not quite. This one's a little bigger. I already know that the bottom one needs to be bigger anyway, because that's going to be that's the main panel. And so first thing you might want to think about as you're doing a page is, what's the main focus of that page? What's the most important scene in that page? And then make that scene the biggest panel. And so in this case, it's the bottom scene. And I already know what the bottom scene is going to be, and so I could just start sketching that in now. The couch is going to be kind of not that much, but a little bit. And actually, I'm going to have this part. That's going to be the part that comes back like that. And let me think about this. That they sit on. Anyway, something like that. At this stage, I'm not worried about details so much. I'm really sloppily just sketching stuff out. And then that's the dude that has his legs tied up, and his legs are coming down here, and his feet. He's got some ropes there. His head's up here somewhere. His arms are coming straight down to the side, and he's wrapped up with wire or with rope. Okay, so that's that dude from the previous thing. He's staring off into nothing. And then Skyla is going to be, like kind of hunched over here, and then this arm is going to just be kind of out there doing nothing. Might be able to see a little bit of her breast there. And this arm is going to be like coming over here. And then there's going to be like a wave thing, like that. And maybe even show a ghost hand. You know, that way it looks like she waved her hand over here like she's like, yoo-hoo, can you see me? And then, you know, you would kind of see her butt depending on what she's going to be wearing. Well, she's going to be wearing the same pants as before. And then just kind of draw that coming off there. So it's really sloppily sketching. I'm trying to do it, you know, this is just so I can lay out where everything is going to be, and I'm trying to save as much time. I know in a previous scene, you know, the dude that she's been interacting with, I don't want to give you his name because it's not revealed yet, that he's sitting down in the previous scene. I know that already. And in fact, I know I need to have maybe this panel can be like that, and then this can be a long panel like that, and this one's going to be 2 panels, so it's going to be like just kind of her face here, and I know she's going to be kind of, her arms are going to be coming straight down, and then her legs are going to be coming straight out, and I might even zoom in more than that towards just her upper body, but her arms are coming straight, maybe even straight now. Anyway, maybe like that. I think that'll work. And her hands can be in fists, like she's aggravated, and you know. So shorthand, actually not shorthand. There we go. Like she's kind of irritated, angry, and she might be having her mouth open actually. And so she says what she has to say. Well, actually probably be a lot thinner than that since it's gonna be long. Blah blah blah. And again, I keep, you know, I know about this general size that they're going to be based on what they say. And then he says what he says, and I overlap them to show that he's like interrupting. And then he's going to be here, and he's going to be kind of looking like this. And let's see here. This arm is, I'm going to have his hand really big. Actually, I can just draw where his fingers are going to be and his thumb's going to be. And then this is going to be like foreshortened as it comes back here. That arm's going to be coming off. His chest is going to be more over here, and his abs. So you're seeing more of this side of him than you are of that side. That's the center line. The reason I want it that way is because I want it to look like he's twisting, like he's like turning, like, hey. Actually, that leg will probably be straight. It's coming straight down like that, and that one will be bent over here. And so I want to foreshorten, you know, I want to foreshorten and have the hand really come out so it's bigger than his head, so it's coming out toward us. And so he's saying what he has to say, interrupting, like, blah blah blah. Hey, I mean, I know what all this is, but I don't want to give it away because I think I might post this tutorial before I actually post this page on Sunday. So the final version of this page on Sunday. So don't worry, I'm not giving away the story, you know, because I'm not showing anything they're saying, and their body motions and stuff isn't really giving anything away. And then in this one here, she's going to be really, it's going to be a close-up of her face more than anything. But I'm going to put her speech here like this. That way I don't have to draw all that, and I need this bigger panel, so this will be vertical. I don't want to just be like her face. Yeah, I want to mainly a face shot, so I can do 2 ways in to do a face shot. I a face shot here, then have her speech over here, but then it's like a narrow panel like that, or the way I did it here, where it's below her. Then I don't have to draw all that body, and I can just kind of imagine where the part of her body is going to be. Again, I need to do shorthand for her face. So she's like, she has kind of her face. So, oops. Something like that. Also, her ears can sometimes tell, you know, like, if her ears kind of come out and then droop down more, that tells something about what, you know, like more like, that's more like her or sad, and her ears do that with a couple different types of face expressions. And then they kind of even point up a little bit when she really like is scared or something. or really angry. So like here, she's kind of angry, so her ears can she kind of flexes and it forces them to go up a little bit, like more like normal ears. Right, then I know I can erase this line because I don't need it. And then this will be where the original part where he's going to be sitting down. And so he's like somewhere here. And he's responding to what she said there, and like he had just sat down, let's say. And this leg will be coming out toward us, and that leg will kind of be relaxed, coming down like that. And then just we might be able to see part of this guy over here still, and he's all tied up, just kind of not doing anything. And back of the couch there. Like I said, it's just very quick sketching. I'm not actually trying to draw at this stage. At this stage, it's really just about trying to figure out where things are going to be located and where speech tags and stuff like that are going to be. I could get away with like not drawing a lot of this down here, but I kind of want to show his relation there, and so I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to put it up here instead. I have his response here. I usually put little hints so I know what they're saying, but then after I have the sketching process done and I'm happy with everything the way it is, and then I need to decide if he's still sitting here or not, or if he has decided to stand up, and maybe you only can see part of his back here and his butt, and he's just kind of standing. Maybe you see his hand coming down here, and it's on the sofa, so you only see that part of it. Notice I still wanted to draw that up there so I know kind of where he's at, but that won't actually be drawn. Just, you know, this part's going to be in the frame. So I'm thinking that might work, and then you know it's him because the way he's been dressed and stuff. And so now you know from here to here, a little bit of time had passed, and he had now got up and spun around and is standing up now. And then he will say what he has to say here and here. So I got to think about what they're saying, where I need to put the speech bubbles. Right. So I know that she says something first to respond to him, what he says there. Now she said something first, so I put the speech bubble here, and I'm going to start it with Y because I know that that's how it starts, and that's not enough to tell, give anything away. I'm not giving you spoilers away, but this does give you kind of a glimpse at what the next page and what I have in store for the next page. And let's see here. And then he responds to her, so I want to put it right underneath it. And he starts with what? Like that, and then I think she gets one more response. Yeah. Her last response is kind of long, so it takes about that much space. And it starts with well. Okay, so that is the thinking stage. That's what I go through when I design a page. Is I want to make sure that all the speech bubbles work, easy to follow, what to read first, what to read second, that the panels are laid out right, that I show action and some coolness like hands coming out at you, or I might this one, instead of being straight like that, I might even decide to have her be at kind of a 3/4 angle, where you see more of her side, almost like a side view but not quite, and that way I can really show her arms coming back, but that might not work. I might decide to zoom in closer here where you just see this part of her and make all that bigger, and if I do that, an easy way to do that would just be to grab what I want and then to make it bigger and just fit in the panel like that. And also another thing that's important too is you want to remember, but I don't think that's what I want, but one thing I do need to do that I didn't think about is I want to lay out everything to where each panel is broken into a plus sign, and your focal points want to be in these areas. You don't want to be in the center, so you want one of those to be your focal area of that panel. And so notice him, I have the hand and his head being the focal area, and that's why I want his hand coming out at us. And so this one here, it's centered, but it's fine because it's a close-up of the face, so in that case it works. Actually it's like in the center. It should be like here, right? But then it wouldn't quite work yet. So once in a while you do need to actually center your thing. And then this one here, notice the focal point is him, so he's in the proper focal point where I need it to be. And then break this down, and here's the main focal point here, which is where it needs to be. It's in one of these squares. So that's just a quick lesson. Thank you for watching.